storms may be severe with damaging winds and isolated tornadoes in the late morning and early afternoon.
National Weather Service has issued tornado watch number 561. Persons should remain alert for rapidly changing weather.
The National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning. If a tornado is spotted, act quickly and move to a place of safety inside a sturdy structure, such as a basement or small interior room.
Tornado in Washington, Illinois, downhill line.
Weather spotters confirm tornado.
Get in the house. Get downstairs.
The tornado will be near.
It's coming this way. All right, I gotta go. And I'm in the basement. Okay. And I don't think I can get out of the basement. There's water running in and a tornado hit. I can't. My house is gone. Our house has been decimated by a tornado. My whole neighborhood is gone.
Good evening. This is Washington, Illinois, and a year ago you couldn't have walked down this street.
You might not have even known it was a street.
There it was, debris everywhere. The most intimate and the most mundane parts of people's lives swept away with the wind.
Those winds 190 miles an hour, an EF4 tornado, the strongest ever in November to hit, had reached Tazewell County.
But the residents had two things going for them. One, it was Sunday morning. A lot of people were in church, big, sturdy buildings. And the second thing, the meteorologists saw this one coming.
If you are in the path of this cell, now is the time to take shelter. Get to your basement.
That's why meteorologist Chuck Collins and Sandy Gallant were in place. The storm front was marching inexorably towards central Illinois that Sunday morning. The tornado first touched down in North Pekin. Nearly 180 homes damaged. Then to East Peoria.
I think we may need to take shelter right now ourselves.
We do.
This is what was going on outside. An EF2 tornado, 20 homes destroyed, over 200 others damaged, 400 vehicles damaged. Then the storm got stronger. Now an EF4 tornado, winds of 190 miles an hour and moving into Washington.
Holy moly.
Homes pulled from their foundations, cars sucked from driveways, glass, nails, boards, everything thrown together.
Our house is freaking destroyed, Josie!
633 homes, 7 businesses, 7 apartment buildings, 2,500 cars destroyed. Not damaged, destroyed. The tornado finally dissipating in LaSalle County, leaving in its wake $935 million in damage and thousands of Central Illinois residents wondering if they could ever put their lives back together.
A big reason for the high damage totals, the duration of the storm itself. Now, the Pekin tornado actually touched down in southeast Peoria County, about a mile east of Mapleton along the river. It came across the river to the north side of Pekin at 10:52. Pekin residents had 5 minutes warning. Then the East Peoria, Washington tornado started out as a funnel cloud over Marquette Heights. It hit the Springfield Road area near our studios at 11 o'clock that morning. East Peoria residents had 10 minutes warning. Then the Washington tornado. Washington residents had 15 minutes warning when that monster storm struck at 11:05. But the storm was still threatening life and property. It came within 2 miles of Metamora to the southeast at 11:10 and then caused some damage in rural Benson at 11:25. Monunk was the next target. The tornado came within a couple of miles of that community at 11:35, and then the tornado ended near Long Point at 11:47. That's in Livingston County. So the Washington tornado on the ground, 47 miles, 47 minutes, forward speeds of 60 miles an hour. Although a rare tornado indeed, it did not catch forecasters off guard. The morning of November 17th felt like May 17th. It was warm and humid, strong southerly winds, fast-moving clouds. You didn't have to be a meteorologist to know this wasn't right.
The Storm Prediction Center, as well as our own office here, we were looking at things on 13th, 14th of November already, so 3-4 days ahead of time.
National Weather Service Warning Coordination meteorologist Chris Miller says it became apparent the night before this was going to be serious.
And the ingredients were such that this was going to be a major tornado outbreak, so the Storm Prediction Center came out with a high risk, which is pretty rare. You know, we may see one of those a year. Sometimes we may go years before we see one of those, but we'd never seen one like that in the middle of November.
The severe weather outlook indeed was correct. The radar began exploding with images of rotating thunderstorms southwest of Peoria. Tornado warnings were issued immediately. The Pekin tornado first, followed by the East Peoria, Washington tornado, which dramatically increased in size and intensity around the Farmdale area, prompting the Weather Service to use verbiage it had never used before, that this tornado had the potential for loss of life and devastating damage. As the tornado was hitting Washington, it produced a debris signature on the radar, which indicated debris was being thrown 20,000 feet in the air. And at that moment, Miller knew what he and his survey team would see when they visited the site that afternoon.
I was familiar with that area. I used to live in that area or near that area, and I didn't recognize it.
Washington tornado was blamed for 3 deaths. 51-year-old Steve Neubauer died the day of the storm. 2 others died later from their injuries sustained that day. 82-year-old Rosamond Allison died on November 29th, and 84-year-old Charles Kuntz died on January 2nd.
The aftermath of those devastating winds, more than 1,000 homes here in Washington ripped into pieces.
One of those homes belonged to Joey and Ashley Davidson, a Washington couple that says they're lucky to be alive. News 25's Roseanne Aragon has been following their road to recovery since the beginning. She has their story.
You like it? For Joey and Ashley Davidson, it's time to come home.
We are getting ready to move in.
Just about a month away from being completed, and I just cannot wait to actually sit down and watch TV or a movie, and I don't get to do that anymore.
Well, that's the most exciting thing, getting back to normal.
He's my brother. Their 2 kids now vaguely remember what was once a vicious nightmare. This EF4 tornado turned Dean and Hadley's fortress to a war zone. Their dad a near casualty. Their home crumbled on top of him. We were there.
Broken shoulder, broken back, broken ribs. I was obligated to get this house rebuilt myself.
Now fully healed, he built the home with his friends from ground up.
We're really thankful. We have a whole new floor plan that is just awesome. It'll be home as soon as somebody puts a hole in the wall.
We poured the foundation, and we have a big full 9-foot basement.
Not to mention a solid storm shelter. But the biggest change is one you can't touch.
We're into a groove. I think everybody has found their own little niche. The kids, myself, Joey, we're where we need to be.
Everybody's a team effort. The kids are pitching in to help with the dishes, and it's been fun and fulfilling, and it's been rewarding, and so much. It's hard to explain.
But these smiles say it all. They're ready to come home. In Washington, I'm Roseanne Aragon.
To rebuild or not, that is a question that Don and Sheila Dempsey have been asking themselves ever since the tornado hit the home they'd been living in for 44 years. Maddie Heidenreich has that story.
I said, we don't have time to move, and I no sooner said that, and you could just hear it popping and cracking. It only lasted, in my estimation, about 45 seconds.
A 45-second disaster that would leave many couples like Don and Sheila Dempsey wondering what to do next.
We stood there and just looked around us, just devastating. There wasn't a sound anywhere. There was nothing moving whatsoever.
Much different than now, a year later, when construction sounds fill the air and the neighborhood grows from the ground up. But some lots,
our lot is rather large. It goes way back to Park.
Like the Dempseys, are still left bare.
We've not really decided at this time if we want to rebuild or not. We're kind of waiting at our age if that's the thing to do. But we found this duplex here that really fit our needs at that time.
Miles from what they once called home.
Every day, I think you think of what was normal or what you did have or what you did do. You're going to have to develop a new normal.
In search for normalcy, Sheila now displays things left untouched by the tornado.
Bible that I keep on the bottom shelf of the table. It was probably 5 feet from the front door. The front door we never found, but the Bible was still sitting on the shelf of that table.
But the Dempseys say they still need time.
We might rebuild later on or find something else to buy, but we're just kind of taking it day by day.
Reporting in Washington, I'm Maddie Heidenreich.
People all over the country donated money for tornado relief. How much was donated? How much is left? Is there something for those still here?
Plus, we sit down with survivors of the storm 1 year later and hear their stories.
Can you say, give me 50% off? Of course you can during Modern Furniture's 50% off sale. Get the lowest prices of the year in America's leading brands. Shop Modern Furniture in Washington. Shop Washington Strong. We sell for less because we are the best.
At Corsaw Hardwood Lumber, to find the best wood products, we walk the timber to bring you the very best in maple, red oak, walnut, ash, cherry, and hickory. Harvest, cut, trim, and kiln dry all of our woods to perfection, giving you the most beautiful hardwood products. Our dedication to quality shows in every product we sell to you, the satisfied customer. Corsaw Hardwood Lumber, where our quality is higher than our price. Visit our showroom today. Corsaw Hardwood Lumber, 14 miles west of Canton on Route 9.
Do you have plans to ensure the safety of your loved ones during a disaster or home invasion? The Hideaway Storm Shelter is a safe room tested to the highest standards, capable of withstanding F5 tornado impacts and .30 caliber armor-piercing bullets. And the Hideaway folds against the wall and deploys in seconds. Applications available for home, business, church, school, or daycare. Keep your loved ones safe. Contact New Trend for a free no-obligation evaluation.
At the Antioch Group, we understand life can be difficult.
The guys are waiting for me outside. Can I get going?
And what did the doctor say?
Go.
Hey,
so
I
when's that?
Going.
When's the next test?
I don't have time to wait.
Yeah?
Feeling overwhelmed? Overburdened? When the waves of life crash against you, you need a hand.
The Antioch Group, contemporary Christian counseling and psychological services.
The Antioch Group is here to offer you both. The Antioch Group, beside you throughout life's journey.
Can you say, give me 50% off? Of course you can during Modern Furniture's 50% off sale. Get the lowest prices of the year in America's leading brands. Shop Modern Furniture in Washington. Shop Washington Strong. We sell for less because we are the best.
One of News 25's own survived Washington's EF4 tornado.
Reporter Bo Ebenezer, his now fiancée Alyssa Valdez, and their dog took cover in the bathtub of their second-floor apartment at Georgetown Commons. And now, a year later, Bo says so much has changed, and for the better.
It was like probably for 30 seconds, and I just remember just holding on really tight to each other. After everything would just fall on us, I would say, it's going to be okay, we're okay, we're okay.
I kind of looked to him to get us to safety, and I know he was bleeding, and so that was just then another thing. I didn't know if he was going to be okay. I didn't know if I was going to have to get him out.
I remember just climbing up out of all the debris that was on top of us, and as we looked out, we just saw everything just flatten around us.
Not really aware of what was going on. Luckily, our neighbor, she gave us shoes and she gave me a coat. I still don't feel like we realized that we lost like everything.
And we couldn't actually go in because it was a safety hazard and it was on the second floor. So they went in and they found some shoes. The firefighter also pulled out a picture of us. The glass and the frame was all broken from it, but the picture was still in there and it was intact. It was actually a picture frame I made for her in high school. We took it as a positive, even though it was such a horrible thing. We made it the best of it, and now we're moving forward and hopefully going to have a great life together.
Other survivors, much like Bo, started picking up the pieces and moving toward recovery, building from the ground up, overwhelmed with the task at hand. Now we hear their stories.
When the tornado warning came for East Peoria, we realized, okay, it's kind of close, it's kind of real, they're taking cover there. We had stayed home that day just to kind of get ready because we knew that there was a possibility that our baby was going to come early.
I was downstairs doing laundry and our granddaughter came running down the stairs and said, "Grandma, the TV's making a funny noise and it's scaring me."
I actually didn't realize that we had a tornado coming until I looked over my shoulder and I could see roofs flying through the air about a half mile away.
Pulled my phone out, I was just taking a quick video of it as it was starting and watched it as it came down. I got lost in it. I just kept watching it and watching it. I thought my kids, my wife, my friends, the town, I thought everybody was dead.
We didn't realize how bad it was until we climbed through that window and got out. Kind of the icing on top of the cake here, just to have a baby 7 weeks premature. It's encouraging at least to see that everything is being rebuilt. It didn't make sense for us.
Unlike a lot of other people, we rebuilt almost the exact same house.
It's a long process with the insurance companies, but we're almost there. Our goal right now is give them all the best Christmas ever, be home by then.
When the winds died down and devastation was all you could see here, people from around the country came with their hearts on their sleeves and their wallets open. $5.8 million came into the American Red Cross for tornado relief. The Red Cross response, from shelters and meals to health services, was powered completely by donations and volunteers.
Central Illinois stepped forward and said, what can we do to help, whether that was monetary donations, whether it was volunteering, or whether it was just being a shoulder for people to cry on. They were there for the people in need right after that tornado.
To date, 90% of the $5.8 million has been spent. This is a breakdown of where it went. The Red Cross is still working with more than 400 families in the final stages of recovery. Other Central Illinois communities continue to look for normalcy after the tornadoes that ripped through their community.
Up next, we head to Pekin, then East Peoria with Chief Meteorologist Chuck Collins.
Do you have plans to ensure the safety of your loved ones during a disaster or home invasion? The Hideaway Storm Shelter is a safe room tested to the highest standards, capable of withstanding F5 tornado impacts and .30 caliber armor-piercing bullets. And the Hideaway folds against the wall and deploys in seconds. Applications available for home, business, church, school, or daycare. Keep your loved ones safe. Contact New Trend for a free no-obligation evaluation.
In the world of electricity, they're the Special Forces. Molded by 8,000 hours of on-the-job training and 750 more in the classroom. The equivalent of a master's degree. Guys ready for anything. Veterans of voltage. The ones you call to do it right in the first place. Also known as the men and women of NECA and the IBEW.
Dude, check her out!
Oh, I've seen her around here before. She wasn't that hot about a week ago.
No way, man! She's flawless! In that shade of red, I've always loved redheads.
Yep, she got the perfect paint match, and look at the shine on those curves. Trust me, Turk's Collision Center took good care of that body.
10-4 on that!
Turk's Collision Center, they do a body good. East Peoria and turkscollision.com. Remember, kids, talking cars are not real.
Stanley Steamer is more than your local carpet cleaner. We're certified experts in restoring fire and smoke damaged homes, removing and remediating mold infected homes, and restoring water damaged homes to their original condition. Many of these home disasters require immediate attention, and our technicians are on call 24 hours a day. And we do the work and estimates required by your insurance company. When one of these home disasters occur,
call 1-800-STEAMER. Stanley Steamer gets carpet cleaner.
For some victims of the tornado, getting back into their homes hasn't been easy. As News 25's Mark Strauss explains, not everybody has been able to go back.
Bill and Joel Comstock are anxious to move back into their house in Pekin. The past year has been rough for them, filled with uncertainty and red tape, waiting for insurance to come through and repairs to take place.
It's not a situation where it hits and everything's figured out. Your contractor starts right away. It doesn't go like that.
The Comstocks hope to move back in by the first of the year, but right next door, their neighbor, Gary Rhodes, doesn't know when or if he'll ever be able to return to his home.
What's going on is criminal. It's wrong that they're looking at these homes and they're lowballing them. We're talking about people's homes and that they've worked their whole life for.
Rhodes' insurance company offered him $37,000 to repair his damage, but 2 engineers he hired and one from the city of Pekin say it'll cost 4 times that much. And he's been told if the repairs don't begin soon, the house could wind up on the city's list of condemned properties. But recently there's been progress. After the CEO of Auto Owners Insurance learned of Rhodes' case, the company ordered a new inspection.
I'm still hopeful that maybe that part of the process will bring this to some resolution so we can get the repairs done and get the roads back in the house here.
Rhodes isn't the only property owner who's had to bide his time. A few miles away, this tornado-damaged home only recently received a construction permit.
Obviously, it's not the homeowner's fault. They're trying to work with their insurance company, but it is certainly something that you want to pick up and you want to move on.
It's a slow process and an ordeal for some. In Pekin, I'm Mark Strauss.
In East Peoria, 60 homes had significant damage. 34 were a total loss. News 25's Audrey Wise has the story of one woman's rebuilding and recovery process.
Sometimes there's a noise and you just tense up.
Paula Milliken is still raw with emotion. A year ago, an EF2 tornado hit her home. Sometimes it's hard, but Milliken does consider herself lucky. She wasn't home, but her daughter and grandkids were there. They all survived without a scratch.
They were just all in a corner downstairs.
Milliken was at church when the tornado hit. When she came back to her home of 38 years, she was in shock.
My house was gone.
She was in the middle of a remodeling project. Her new addition was almost untouched. However, her garage, roof, and parts of the front of her house were scattered for miles. Since she already had a contractor on site, they got to work. But even picking out new furniture or a countertop turned into a reminder and a daunting task.
Nothing's the same. I mean, I'm glad it's beautiful, but it's not what I expected. It's not the way I had my life planned.
East Peoria Mayor Dave Mingus remembers the day clearly. The horrifying sights still etched in his memory.
It seemed like it put perspective on the important things on life right there at that moment.
Thinking back on that night a year ago, Mayor Mingus never thought they would be at this point in recovery.
I think we've grown, and it's in a positive way.
While the homes may be rebuilt, the souls may never heal. It took the tornado seconds to change Milliken's life, but it left a lasting scar she will remember every day. In East Peoria, I'm Audrey Wise.
It's a sound of incoming danger, but it's also a call to action.
Firefighters, paramedics, police officers, heroes during and after the November tornadoes. Coming up next, we hear their stories on Central Illinois Strong 1 year later.
Hi, I'm Steve Faceney, owner of Shaw Siding and Roofing. I have over 25 years experience in the siding and roofing industry. We use the best materials and the latest techniques to ensure your home is watertight. Our employees are certified installers and we offer a 50-year manufacturer's warranty on all new roofs. We are a licensed, bonded, and fully insured company. Call Shaw Siding and Roofing today for your free estimate. 309-613-6262.
A car accident can cause devastating physical injuries. Being hit by an under or uninsured driver can be just as devastating financially. I'm attorney Jim LaFonte. If you've been in an accident, call me. I know what it takes to fight for the compensation you deserve. I'm local, respected, and famous for getting my clients their fair share. Call me at 999-1111.
To schedule a free consultation, call 999-1111.
At the Antioch Group, we understand life can be difficult.
Bullies are picking on me. I'm having trouble concentrating. I'm scared. My parents are getting divorced.
When a child hurts, that's the time to call the Antioch Group.
The Antioch Group, contemporary Christian counseling and psychological services.
Whether it's struggling with the troubles of growing up or with a more serious trauma, the caring professionals of the Antioch Group are here to help your child and you. The Antioch Group, beside you throughout life's journey.
When you're ready,
ServPro, how can we help?
help gets there faster. The cleanup specialists at ServPro. Helping make fire and water damage like it never even happened.
First responders were on the scene as soon as that tornado hit.
The community calls them heroes, but they say they were just doing their jobs. News 25's Catherine Tellez reports.
It appears that it is on the ground.
Officer Derek Thomas was on duty that day. He spotted the tornado and drove towards it, desperately wanting to help. Moments later, he saw someone trying to outrun it.
When I saw him, he was waving his arms. He told me he had tried to knock on people's doors and get them to stop, but they just drove right past. And so he ran to my car and hoped I could get him somewhere where the tornado was not.
Thomas got him to safety and raced back to help others. On this day, we revisited that spot. Thomas still struggles to understand all of it.
In the beginning, it was just me. I just try and do what you can with who you can. You know, I mean, I'm not Superman. I can't save everybody, but I was going to do my best to save whoever I could.
Meanwhile, on the other side of town, another officer's house was heavily damaged in the tornado. But that didn't stop this East Peoria officer from helping others.
All I heard were people screaming outside, help me, looking for people, making sure that their families are okay. So my first instinct was just throw on a pair of boots, and I took off outside.
In the days that followed, both officers worked round-the-clock shifts, making sure what wasn't lost stayed protected. Something Swearingen says hit close to home.
Not only you were affected, but you're out and you're working and you're watching other people's homes that were affected. It just means a little bit more to you, I think, knowing that you went through it as well.
And while it may be a year later, it's a day these first responders will never forget.
Even a high, strong gust of wind at times, you kind of think about it a little bit differently.
Every time I drive through here, I remember that day, because had I decided not to go down there, not to go see what people were talking about, ignore them, you know, go back to reports or whatever, it could have ended differently. So it's a heavy feeling.
In Tazewell County, I'm Catherine Tellez.
It's been 1 year of rebuilding, and progress has been made.
We've talked to the survivors, the heroes, and remembered those who lost their lives.
There's no doubt progress has been made. We are Central Illinois strong.
It's been 1 year, and now it's on to the next one. Good night.